upon first watch, it literally took me, like I said, until the third fucking watch to be like, wait a minute, it's Tobias Forge.
It's insane that he's
Um,
got his full, like, not nearly naked face in a video. I never
he's got his
thought.
whole Tobussy out.
I am all ears. A Ghost Fancast.
Hello, welcome back to the I'm All Ears podcast with me, Alva. Today, we're very, very exciting. Joined with Katie, Alana, and Cammy as usual. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Right, we are back. I do not mean us as a podcast, although we are kind of back. But we are so back. The new era of Ghost has officially begun.
Never been more back, baby.
Guess who's back? Right. So, what's been going on? What the fuck is... It's been a whirlwind. I've had emotional whiplash. I am stunned. I am feeling all sorts of things, both sexually and fearfully. Help me, I'm scared. So,
I'm feeling a lot of emotions right now.
if you've been living...
There's a lot going on, for sure.
If you've been living under a rock for the last... How many weeks has it been? Like nearly 2 weeks? By the time this comes out, probably close to 3.
The video came out 11 days ago.
Yeah, so it came out on... Was it the 5th of March?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In case you've been living under a rock, we got a new song. We've had an album announcement. We've had a new music video. We got a new Papa. So, how did we get here? How did we get here, guys? How did this happen? Shall we recap for those who may not be here? Because maybe you're new to Ghost. Maybe you've seen all the hype with the new song, Satanized, out now. Plug in for you, bitch.
Out now in all places that stream music, and judging from Ghost Twitter account that one time where they listed all the places it was being featured, there's a lot of places you can stream it from.
Oh, fucking hell, we need to bring that up as well. Yeah, maybe you're new here. Maybe this is your first changeover. Definitely my first changeover.
Yep, mine too.
Let's discuss. So, what was like the first inclination of the change? Because obviously, like I said, we spoke about the name drop in the Black Sabbath poster. I think that was kind of the first seed of, oh lord, it's happening.
Yeah.
Then was it the billboard?
I think it was. I think it kind of went like, because they put on their Twitter account like V is coming, 5 is coming.
Yeah.
And
they were like even promoting it during like Valentine's Day, like get your V
Yeah.
card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they had the little pictures, and like they had one of the lyrics which came from Satanized, which is fighting the urge to burst or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm quelling
That
my
was
urge to burst.
Yeah.
That was our first,
yeah.
like, oh my god, are these lyrics? What are we doing?
He's
Oh,
gonna be horny again.
we got the Spotify playlist then. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's spelled
I think that came out.
Satanized.
Yeah. Wait, did that come out before or after the billboard?
It was before the billboard. I think it was just after the Valentine's Day thing.
Yeah, where it was just V is coming, and then people like were noticing that the first letter of every song in the order of the playlist was Satanized. And then they put the same one on YouTube with their music videos, but like it was always that it always spelled out Satanized. And then people were realizing that the word Satanized was also used in the first or the last chapter video when it was like announcing the tour. For this Satanized sensation.
Satanized shindig.
Yeah, that was it.
So yeah, then what came next? It was the live stream, wasn't it, of the billboard?
Yeah.
So or was it a picture? Did we get a picture first? I can't remember. It was this billboard.
Yeah, we got a random picture of it, and then someone was like saying how like, oh, there's a smoke machine attached to it, but we only saw pictures of it, and people like went out and got their pictures, and then like
didn't we think there was going to be more popping up, like maybe around LA, maybe in London and stuff? But it was just in Las Vegas.
And then there was also that kind of because we also had that kind of thing. It's like, well, a smoking billboard would make sense in Vegas because it's Vegas. So like so like if you're gonna have a smoke machine attached to a billboard anywhere, it would be Vegas because they're like,
Mm.
they're probably used to seeing weird shit on billboards in Vegas.
Mm.
And then like obviously they had like you said, like people were going out and taking photos of it and being like, look, there it is.
But can we talk about
And
someone who's a little
people,
bit more articulate than me on this about the significance of the smoke in relation to the conclave?
Yes. Basically, what happens is when a pope kicks the bucket and finally goes and meets his boss, they hold a job interview with all of the different cardinals. But there's like 4 specific cardinals that like are usually kind of up top, and they're the preferiti, they're called.
Okay.
And so they then get locked into conclave where they can't talk to anybody. They can't get outside information. All their food is like prepared for them, like
Wow.
specially, so they can't like get like their food's checked for messages and everything, so they can't be influenced and things like that there. And then they hold a vote to who will be the next the leader of the Roman Catholic Church or whatever. And then outside, because it's such a huge thing, the St. Peter's Square is usually filled with thousands of people. So a way to signify if they've picked or not is they burn the votes, and like if they haven't picked, the smoke will be black. But then when they do pick, the smoke will burn white. And that means they finally picked. But like people will wait. Like sometimes those conclaves can happen for weeks. Like we're really lucky that Tobias went, okay, 48 hours is maybe long enough. Like we could have like those some of those I think the longest one I ever saw, like I think when I was researching it, the longest one I ever saw was 3 months.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like they were locked for 3 months in there. I think my personal thing is I find it really funny because we already knew who the next Papa was anyway. But it's because they know that the excitement's coming, and I'm surprised he never did this sooner. But like obviously budget wise, it's hard to kind of like rent a billboard and do all that shit. So like he has the money to do it now. But yeah, the white smoke is basically means when the Papa's been picked. So like kind of.
And in this case, it was the purple smoke.
Yeah. So to summarize, it was a live stream on YouTube of this billboard in Las Vegas, which there was a lot of theories going around it because it was in front of the Encore Hotel, which had a twin hotel next to it. Can't remember the name of the twin hotel, but it was like built exactly the same, and obviously that's tying in with the twin theory. But yeah, it ran for around 48 hours, and we were kind of all looking out for this smoke to appear. Also, we were like, it was kind of on a loop because the sunrise and sunset didn't really come up at the right times.
One plane flew back and forth, like the same direction.
No one had gone over there to moon it or anything. Like, come on, guys. We were rooting for you.
I personally was getting to the point where I was thinking, I was like, I don't think this is actually an advertisement for Ghost. I think this is an advertisement for El Paso tacos.
Oh yeah, tacos El Paso.
Even they got in on it at one point. Like a Ghost fan that wants to come in and get like free tacos or something, they can. Because like they're getting full advertisement.
For real, I was so hungry. I was watching that live stream for like almost 48 hours. I was like, man, I'm so hungry for tacos El Paso.
I only checked in every now and then because I was just relying on people to.
I had it on my TV, like playing, because I was just waiting in case any like music or anything happened. And I actually wrote down what time it actually, the live stream started at like 5:04 in the morning, just randomly. But then whenever it kicked in with the music, it nearly scared the ever-loving shit out of me because it had been silent for literally 2 days, and then suddenly that music from the chapter kicked in for half a second, and I was like, ah! Because I was like half asleep as well, because I hadn't slept at that point either, So I was like sitting half dazed on my laptop, and then suddenly like, and I'm like, guys, it happened.
Oh shit! So while this billboard stream was going on, I think it was getting towards the last day. So maybe was it on the 4th of March? Maybe when the venues started tweeting the whole V is coming, and more, at least the North American venues were tweeting a lot about it.
Manchester was tweeting about another 5 coming that was equally as important. So they were, everybody get up.
Oh yeah, the UK was too focused on that. When did we get the hat picture? Was that just before we got the reveal as well?
I think it was during the reveal.
No, it was before. Actually, wait. I think the only thing that came out before, what came out before the hat, I believe, was the email.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
We got
The
the
So
email. So
for the
when the purple
exclusive.
smoke happened, so when the live stream was going on and the purple smoke happened and everything, then an email was sent out. Like at the same time, how like, V is finally coming, and like it was a link. It was a link to get a mystery vinyl.
Very limited press as well, like 4,000 copies, and that was it.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Also, gonna shit on Loma Vista here a little second. Like, why did Europe, which is significantly larger than America, only get 1,000?
and dropped at
copies?
4 a.m. Thanks, dude.
Yeah. No, but it's like it's like the distribution of this 4,000 vinyls was kind of funny because like the US Loma Vista store got 3,000, and then the international one, which covers all of Europe, Scandinavia, probably South America, I don't know, Australia, got 1,000. Like you guys can fight for it. It's throwing like
Yeah.
a chicken wing in. Go on.
So
I got one.
according, I'm so glad I keep screenshots of everything because it gives me timestamps. So yeah, the 4th of March at around, at least I saw this at about 7 in the morning. So it probably came a couple of hours earlier. It's just I was a fucking sleep. Thanks, dude.
Like a normal
So I
person.
saw the email at 7 in the morning on the 4th of March. Where, like I said, there was a little GIF of Papa where you could, like you said, Cammy, you can order this limited edition vinyl that we don't know what the fuck it is yet. I think it's going to be a Zoetrope style
Yeah.
vinyl, which has, but the big thing is it had Papa 5's face on.
Yes.
If not one, but 2 mask variants or half masks.
One
Ooh.
one was a fully bedazzled mask with like rhinestones, and then one was just a silver chrome. But it was just like, it was very brief shots because it was like a kaleidoscope of like this imagery with like a priest like lifting up his robes, and then like skeletons, and like you could like kind of like eventually you could find out it was the new crucifix design.
Yeah.
It was just like it was just a kaleidoscope of things going on. It was just like it would flash super quickly, and it was just like, wait, hold on, who the fuck is this? Who is this bitch?
Yeah.
Who is
And why is he naked? As in, like, his face. And then there was also that naked priest. But, like, you can clearly see it was Tobias's face. So naturally,
Insane. Like
insanity.
I never thought he would ever. Like I've said before, like I've never thought he would. Like, because it's mostly just because of things he said. Like, like he doesn't see himself as a rock star and all this here. Like I never thought he would be able to like get past that.
And then like he preaches about having like a big disconnect between like himself and Papa, and how he does all these different things to like get out of character. Like at least before, he used to talk about it in a way that like he never wanted to blend the two really.
And then he made Copia.
And then he made Copia, and then here we are now.
I kind of scared. Because like I remember reading an interview where he said like he's actually finding it harder to like see the difference between himself and Papa. Because I think he made Copia so like too much like himself.
Oh yeah,
like,
and then that one interview who's basically like, yeah, this is like, I would act like that if I had 3 gin and tonics. Basically me, but sillier.
Yeah.
2 things on this though, which is kind of interesting. Like I said, that I kind of saw this coming personally because of that, especially that one Loudwire interview where he was like, as I'm getting older, I'm developing this sort of claustrophobic thing. So I feel like that would be the next logical step. I'm gonna save all conversation on the opinion on the half mask when we get to the big reveal at the end, because I've got a lot to say on this, and theories on where to go next with this. But the second thing I wanted to say was it's gonna be interesting, and we've already seen a little of this happening, for better or for worse, depending on your opinion. Is obviously there's always been this unwritten rule in the fandom of like, you do not edit Tobias's face on Papa's outfits. You do not you do not cross the line of putting his image in with Ghost. For now, I've already seen some amazing fan art, especially especially with some. Yeah, I was about to say, like, with not safe for work fan art that's already happening. I'm personally here for it. I am so here for it.
I'm just happy because like we used to talk about before how like, because like Copia was so much like Tobias, that like Copia was like, that was like for the Forge Nation, But now Papa V has entered the chat, and we're just like, oh my, it's literally him. It's literally him.
I think it's really funny as well. Like again, we'll get more into it when we get into kind of the interviews and stuff about the reveal. But I find it really funny him talking about he wants Papa 5 to talk less, and I think the only reason he's saying that is because he had to edit himself like in the movie, and he's like my God,
No,
I
we
talk
for it.
so much. Yeah, and like we love it though. Like that's like we love a chatty Papa. You know, like you can't go. He said like obviously he's still gonna be jovial. You can't have a guy standing on stage being like, "Whoa," you know, like you can't have that now. And like I think he's still like Tobias can't help talk. You know, like he can't. That's the way he is, and we love him for it. Like we don't want him to change that. But I am personally viewing him saying like he wants Papa 5 to talk less and have more action and like actually get. Because like when you think of Copia, like Copia got a lot of stuff handed to him in a way, you know. You handed the thing of Papa, and then Neil dropped dead on stage, and it's like, oh, now you're Papa properly, like you know. And then like then Sister dropped. Now you're the leader of the church clergy, you know. Like he's like, oh, okay, but he didn't win any Grammys or anything. So like I think Tobias is like, no, this time V will win Grammys.
So, like I said, I'm just going through my screenshots here to figure out like the order of things. So then,
Yeah.
around about on the, I suppose it was early afternoon for us European folk, early morning for you guys in the States. On the 4th, so the day before everything kicked off. A potential leaked album cover was surfacing, and it came. It was sourced from some random site on the Russian social network VK. And I think everyone was a bit skeptical because it was like, is this real? But it looked very like, I was like, I can see sort of Zbigniew style.
Yeah.
And then obviously came out it was true. But yeah, that was weird at the time because obviously you had like the staff, and it was like that looks very Secondo like. It's very trippy. There's a lot of like, you know, the eternal mirroring and stuff, which I suppose Perpetua eternal makes sense.
Yeah. It's so cool though because like you can also like if you just look at because I'm looking at it right now, like if you just look at like where Papa's like reflection is, it also just looks like a skeleton body underneath him, you know, and he's holding the staff. Like it's so like I'm like we talked about this in the artwork episode. I don't know if that's up yet or not, but
yeah.
I'm just floored by like you can definitely tell Zbigniew did architecture stuff. Just the line work that he's done, like, and I would give anything to see this just full size, just so I could get in and see, you know, all the details. Because, like, if you zoom in, there's like a little tiny Papa, like at St. Peter's Square on like one side, and then there's like all shit going on down in like there's those wee stairs and stuff, and then you have some really nice, like, obviously to the left and right, you have the beautiful like landscape pictures as well, which are different for. And I know some people were like talking about them being like, is they AI? Which was, I was like, I don't think so. I thought, to be honest, I thought they were other art pieces, if that makes sense, like references to other artwork.
Well, and Alba was really quick to notice and point out that Zbignew's realism, like when he's painting landscapes, and like that is his style when he is painting that subject matter. But yeah, it totally like it kind of reminds me of like the American school in the late 1800s, early 1900s. The American school was very famous for its landscape paintings. And sorry, I watch a lot of Antiques Roadshow. So yeah, so it does. It gives me like American school vibes, which I don't know that that's necessarily important to the artwork, but it does have that like very painterly, very like I don't know, just like the way the light is the way the light is used, and you know, just like very technically very well done.
It's not like a Bob Ross.
No,
Yeah.
these aren't
As
happy
great
little
as his
trees.
work is.
I mean, they could be happy little trees. It's just not Bob Ross's happy little trees. Another thing I will say though about this cover is, I bet you, Zbigniew was super happy to finally draw skeletons for Tobias.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like he
he
wanted to do Repugnant.
Yeah.
He wanted to do dead guys.
I will
Now
say
he
as
has
well, talking about
all the
Repugnant.
skeletons he can handle.
Yeah, talking about Repugnant, like the Epitome for Darkness album cover is covered in skeletons as well. And
Yeah.
this is covered in skeletons. Like they're crawling all over the window framed picture frames, you know. There's like one hanging directly in the center. There's and then as we're talking about the font as well, you know,
Oh, yeah.
that was used. It's the same font that was used for the Epitome of Darkness. Like I just think it's and the colors feel very repugnant-y. And it's just like I'm wondering, like, is he kind of like, you know, reaching back?
Especially
really-
because he's unmasked and it's like,
Yeah, Mary Gore's coming back, literally. You
Mhm.
know, like reaching really deep in those pockets.
The-
Like, hang on, I've got a couple of skeletons in here I haven't used.
the next sort of phase in what happened, apparently, according to my screenshots, was we got the potential album leak. The album title leak from, I think it was an Italian press site.
Yeah.
Stating it was going to be called Skeletor. And then at which point, this was apparently when the venue started tweeting about V is coming, and then they started dropping this poster, which of Papa 5 potentially at this point, with a fuck ass hat, looking like
Another
it's covered
one.
in jizz. And the tour was gonna, which sort of solidified the potential album title. Oh, also we got there was a Skeletor collection section on the
Yes.
the merch site, which we were a bit like, but the motherfucker has called this tour the Skeletor,
I'm
as
gonna
in the
kill him.
motherfucking He-Man character.
I'm gonna kill him.
I am literally going to hit him.
It's literally that you know, that vine. I'm gonna stab him. You know, like that. No, look at me and tell me that I'm wrong. Like that. That's how
But
I feel.
people were dogpiling on the hat. I love the hat.
But I
love
think
it
what's even
too.
worse is that what's worse about the title is he hasn't just called it Skeletor. It's called Skeletor World Tour. So that's like saying R.I.P. in peace. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, like pin number.
yeah. You know, like
Oh.
it's chai tea. You know, like no.
ATM machine.
Yeah, you know,
Cornbread.
it's like, bro, he just could have called it like I guarantee like he probably wanted to just call it Skeletor, and then like the world tour bit definitely does feel like an executive went, but we need to kind of say it's a world tour, you know, so everybody knows that you're going everywhere, and he's like, fine.
I did love because of that one little poster with the hat on. Everyone started comparing him to the guy from Hocus Pocus.
He looks
Yes.
just like him.
Well,
What's also really funny, I don't know whose name it was. I don't know who their username is on Twitter. Somebody like Apollo Dodgeball slapped in the face, like literally in October, that went, are they gonna call this tour Skeletor? Like when we didn't have any hint of like skeletons or anything, and I was like, what? You know,
Vice, is that you?
standing in the thing like what? You know, like a Puritan. But like that was some great like kind of like, you know, again, Apollo's dodgeball to the dome kind of like it's foresight. Like some people, I would like to say as well, Ghost fan base is very good sometimes of just being like free, like we take from Tobias where we all apparently know how to predict the future.
It's the autism. It's the pattern recognition.
If we're gonna talk about that, like I think we can bring this up now, because at this point in time we knew about this, Skeletor, we knew about Skeletor and all the like the skeleton vibes. Can we not talk about like the little hints that were dropped at like leading up to this, like the fucking skeleton shirt at the Grammys, the skeleton dancers in LA? Like, come on. The fact that I mean, I find it fucking
Tobias Forge. Would I get you?
Also,
I find it fucking funny that like our group is like had been preparing these costumes of skeletons to go to Manchester in, and it's like we fit the theme so fucking well now.
was it around the same time we got the cover that we also got like the back cover of it? The one that looks like it's fucking Star Wars.
It's literally
Yes, it is. It's
Palpatine's
fucking.
throne.
It's
Second I
fucking
saw
Death
that
Star.
fucking thing. The second I saw that fucking thing, I was
But
like,
then we got
like,
hints of that too because he started wearing that Darth Vader ring out of nowhere.
yeah.
And he's been wearing that
All
all the
the
time
time.
now.
Oh, I hate him so much. But
I just like he hasn't done like you can say like the ghouls are kind of like stormtroopery almost, and then you have like Papa Neil is like and you know Sister Nye are like Force ghosts. Which is just so funny that he got Force ghosts into something. But I just like he's never really fully directly referenced Star Wars, like, you know, and like so kind of blatantly.
But if you know, you know.
I mean, he did
like
he did in the chapter
yeah.
with the like
Oh yeah.
Cobia goes Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah. No, but I mean like
Oh,
on
yeah.
like artwork and stuff, like official stuff, not him just standing goofing off
Yeah.
with
The closest
LED light.
that we got was that I thought the cover for Right Here Right Now kind of looked like the original poster for Star Wars. At least it gave the vibes, like, you know, that artwork piece where he's like, you know, lifting up the lightsaber. It kind of gave me the same vibes, especially because it was painted.
Yes. You're right. You're so right.
Before.
But then also, didn't he say like in an interview, like at the beginning of the Paracycle, that part of the inspiration for the ghoul uniforms was Tusken Raiders or Sand People?
Yeah. He's a
which is
fucking
why
nerd.
in Austin, like Austin was right after the Copia Goes Hollywood, which is why I brought him Tusken Raider and a Darth Vader, like 1977 little guys. So like, no, I'm not totally crazy. I'm crazy, but not that crazy.
Let's not forget, he also brought stormtroopers up. Like, I wanted Ghost to have mascots like stormtroopers in fucking court.
Yes, like he was like, I wanted them to be faceless like stormtroopers.
I love how much he loves Star Wars, and I love how like stealthily it was like how much he loves Star Wars until it became unstealthy, and it's just like, I love Star Wars. Look at my Darth Vader ring that I got for my birthday last year, you know, like or Christmas or whatever.
Talking of the ghouls, then, the next thing that sort of happened was the YouTube channel Odyssey, who have done interviews with Tobias before. They'd scheduled an interview to be released later on. Was it the 5th of March?
Yeah.
At least later on in the day after the reveal. But the thumbnail was a promotional photo at the point ? Because we were like, is this fucking AI? Which was showing some tall ass motherfucker in a purple robe, surrounded by what was going to be assumed to be the new ghouls in top hats, habits, and
bedazzled
skeleton costumes,
sparkly onesies,
with bat wings. And what's that film that everyone said it was referencing? Is it King Jerusalem or something, or King? You know, the silver mask with the nun habit.
Yeah,
that's from the Kingdom of Heaven.
Yes,
it's basically in the Kingdom of Heaven there is a Christian king who has leprosy, and he wears this silver mask to kind of cover his face. I don't know if it's a reference. It's just people think it's a reference. It could be.
It looks very similar. Yeah, this photo came out when we were a bit like, is this real? Chat, is this real? But we were like hours away from this point for the
it was only an hour.
Satanized video to drop.
It was only an hour.
Was it only an hour?
Yeah, because it got posted around 11. That
I got 4 a.m.
11 my time, Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah,
and then at midnight Eastern Standard Time, that was when Satanized was supposed to come out. So it was literally like an hour before, and it was and, like I remember I tweeted it. I was like, "Holy fucking shit, dude!" Everyone was like, "Whoa, what? He's got hair. He's got long hair. He's got long curly hair."
He's got night gloves. What's going on?
I was really sad that it leaked though. Like they did that though, because it would. I feel like, you know, it kind of it didn't it was still cool at the end of the video, like when we get there. But I still felt it was like, you know, a bit like you know, like the first time we see this new Papa and the look of the ghouls is this tiny compressed thumbnail, you know, like. for the video.
Kind of stole a little bit of the thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well, let's get on to the main event and let's talk about the video. Let's do the video and then like we'll delve into the song meaning maybe
Yeah.
afterwards because obviously I think the star of the show at this fucking point was the video.
Yeah.
So we had the countdown of doom on YouTube that still haunts me every single fucking day of my life.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That
so
song like
much.
gives me nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah, and the music video starts. What's the guy who plays the priest's name? He's a famous
David
Swedish.
Danik.
Yeah, he's been in like James Bond and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He may or may not look slightly like Barry from EastEnders for all the Brits out there. Just saying. Yeah, and he
He
goes
was
into a confession
So
booth.
good in it, by the way. I think like
He's-
I'm glad they went with an actual actor to do that part
Yes.
because I think he really sold like his facial expressions and all, like when he's singing and all, like he's very good. I spent the whole video going, I know this man's face to myself. It was annoying the fuck. I was so busy like, who is he? I know him, for the whole video that I didn't even register the rest of the video,
Oh
honestly.
wait, well before the video actually came out, they had that bonus chapter.
Yes, the wee trailer.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was while we were waiting for the video to come up. Because before it was just Ghost with like a purple smoke background behind it, and then I want to say maybe like what
5 minutes
like
before?
20 minutes before
okay.
it was like released that when you clicked on the Satanized video, instead of that little ghost background thing, it was this bonus chapter, which they then released as a separate video. But it was like a little bonus chapter, and they're still not able to open the door. And he's just like, well, can we get this like door open? I really want to see this guy. Even I want to see this guy. And then she gives him the keys to like that opens every door except that one. And then
Just like throws them at him.
well, she drops them, and then it just falls to the floor like and then
They
and
said
then
they were
she's like,
tired as well, which is
yeah. And then it's like, why don't you just introduce the next video? What video? The video that's coming up.
Yeah, so we see this monk go into a confessional booth, and then on the other side is another priest who, upon first watch, it literally took me, like I said, until the third fucking watch to be like, wait a minute, it's Tobias Forge.
It's insane that he's got his full, like, not nearly naked face in a video. I never
He's
thought.
got his whole tabussy out.
Yeah. I love that he wore. I will say, I love that he wore like a bowl cut, like haircut to kind of cover his ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also got like prosthetics.
Yeah,
I'm
and
90% sure he. I was gonna say 90% sure he's got dark contacts in because like that threw me. Like some weird fucking Dr. Seuss upper lip thing going on.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he like stuffed cotton into his upper lip or if like there was some kind of appliance.
I think it's an
I think it was an
appliance because
appliance,
you
'cause
can't see his lip. Like he literally has
Yeah.
top lip.
It also looked like you can see like in some of the close-ups the creases around like his sort of jowl areas and stuff. But yeah, like so this dude's in his little confession box confessing to Alan Rickman. Confessing to Alan Rickman, whilst he's writing down a bunch of suggestions, which are one's masturbate. The second was it what like 1,000 Holy Marys? One suicide crossed out idiot. Like let's not recommend suicide. And then the 2 Corinthians? Is that how you say it? Which is a dig at Donald Trump, isn't it?
Yeah, because basically Donald Trump went up in front of like a lot of Christians and they were like, what's your favorite Bible verse? And the way you're supposed to say it is 2 Corinthians. But he was like, oh, I love, I totally love my favorite's like 2 Corinthians, it's like
Corinthians 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be you're supposed to say 2 Corinthians, not 2 Corinthians, if you know your Bible. But I love that he's also like, just kind of like a side note, I love that he's like, oh, this album's not really dealing, like obviously it's still dealing with, like he said, like it still has like social commentary in it, but it's more of an introspective album. I love that he's like, it's more introspective. I'm trying to look more insight, and like literally 5 seconds into the new era, he's just like a little slight fly dig at Donald Trump, like he's a fucking idiot, like...
But yeah, and then these 2 nuns sort of overhear what's going on, and burst the door open and start shouting blasphemy, heresy, which was in the tagline of the vinyl
Yeah.
Which
that we were
was.
emailed
Yeah,
about.
blasphemy, heresy, mystery. Is the
Yeah,
thing.
and then then
But
the chorus kicks in.
can I just
It's a bop.
Can I say fun fact? Those hats that they're wearing, the cornets, one of the kind of like funny names for them is flying nun hats, because there used
Oh
to
yeah.
be a TV show in the 60s where
Oh,
a
yeah,
nun who
with
was
Sally
really
Field.
slight and like really light had a very starched cornet, and she could fly.
Yeah.
Bad shit show, but I love it. I love that he gave me an opportunity to tell people about it.
Well,
That was
also,
like the
it's
first thing Sally Field ever did was the flying nun. She
Yeah.
was the nun who flew.
it was also funny that they acknowledged that hat, because that was also, he basically just wore a cornet for year zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utopia did.
Some
But,
people affectionately called it the taco hat.
The taco hat.
Yeah. So it's talking about Tobias being in the music video. The next thing it took me like I had to be told it and then I had to go back and watch it like 5 times to click. But we see the Nameless Ghouls unmasked,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
they're there.
Good for them, I guess.
That's
They
new.
sure are
They're
there.
there. They're there. That's all I'm gonna say. The bit after the first chorus is that Second
Yes,
Corinthians
it
that
is.
he quotes, and it's like
No.
he's singing it in Latin. It's
I know, I
heavy as fuck. We are so fucking back.
It's a truncated version of Second Corinthians.
No, it's
Corinthians 16,
First
6:19.
Corinthians.
Yeah, 619.
It's First Corinthians 6:19 because Second Corinthians 6:19 does not exist.
Yeah.
Listen, I am not in the Jesus fandom. I'm just as bad as the Orange Man on this.
Listen. I used to be in it. I can't remember a lot of it, but yeah,
I have to look it up.
Yeah, it's basically that the Corinthians that 6:19 is basically saying that your body is not yours. It's God's. You know. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's a
well,
temple.
guess what? It's mine now. I'm living in it. But yeah, the Latin that he says is like a truncated kind of like, you know, like footnote version of that whole thing. Because I know somebody translated it, but Latin's really weird. Where if you take Latin sentences, like like a Latin word out of context of the sentence, it could mean a million different things. Sometimes, and then but if you put it back in the sentence, it means something completely different. You know, so.
But yeah, so yeah, we get that little Latin section, and then like obviously the chorus, like we get another verse, the chorus repeats. We get a fucking dive bomb, which is when like the guitar goes, "Ooh," which is I'm like, we're so back. We
Yeah.
are so back. But in the actual music video itself, obviously, like you see the monk go through sort of what's that dance where like it's like the insanity dance.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
the plague, the dancing plague.
Yeah, it was in France in like the 1600s where for some reason the town randomly started, like people in the town started randomly dancing, and they like would dance until like their shoes filled with blood, and it's
Some people danced until they died.
yeah, they still don't really know why it happened. The only way they could stop it was they made them dance up to a church and then give them blessed shoes.
What I loved though as well is when you went in the footnotes of the music video is they actually had a choreographer for that bit. Which I was like, someone got paid that day. But yeah, and then obviously the music video progresses to said monk being pushed down.
Yeah, exorcism.
And, exercised by Tobias Forge, which / Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
We get the whole sort of little joke of a Victorian man seeing an ankle for the first time.
That's the fan base seeing Tobias Forge's wrist.
And then suddenly, like the video ends with like the monk going into some sort of rotisserie chicken style transition into Papa 5, and they're all shitting themselves. Tobias Forge, monk, priest
Well,
Bias,
he's all like
shocked.
It's cute because he's also like covering his eyes. He's just like hiding his face, like do not perceive me.
Yeah. And then then we get the reveal that matches the same sort of thumbnail as what Audacity put out with, like, you know, they're on that sort of bluish background with the smoke and the ghouls are there, and it's like the big bam reveal. And it's so funny because everyone was like, when you first see the new Papa, what tends to happen is everyone hates him. All of us were just straight up like, I love him. He is the love of my life. I will kill for him.
Um,
and Smash.
one thing I'll
Alex,
say,
Uh-oh.
like this is one of my theories for this era as well, because I know a lot of people, like, I'm not gonna go into the, like, a lot of people were saying about like the gloves with the nails, kind of like a torso, the purple color, you know,
Oh, we
things.
could make a whole
We
episode on
could make a
this.
whole episode on this, but we're not going to really into that. But I think my theory is that he is taking stuff from previous eras, because also it's like the staff is very, you know,
the
Papa
condo.
Perpetua.
Condo.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And then like he has like a cassock again, which again is very Copia, you know, because Copia obviously was the cardinal and all this here. And my theory is that he's taken stuff from previous eras to kind of make them better. You know, because
Mm.
I feel like this video as well, like the closest ghost video that I feel to this is the Pinnacle to the Pit video, which ends
Mm.
pretty much the same way, where a guy gets, you know, is so distressed or whatever that he then like in the Pinnacle to the Pit, he like jumps off the top of a building and then dies, and then
Mm.
you know, Terzo rises from his body. But like in this one here, he's so distressed that he somehow manifests and turns into Papa 5, or you know, like Papa 5 is summoned or whatever it is, you know.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I just find it really interesting. It's because like there's like, and I feel like again, like this again, like we talked earlier about the repugnant stuff, you know, with the skeletons and things like that there. And I feel like, and then him saying about it's very introspective and stuff, and I just like the idea of him just like kind of magpie picking through his own catalog, being like, I'm going to use this again, and I'm going to use this again, and he's going to get a bigger hat this time.
Mhm.
He's got two very big hats so far.
Got a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, like I said, that I think before we move on to the meaning of the song that and the sort of, because what we found out from the promotional tools, I suppose the thing that came next was obviously all the merch started to drop, being like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you can buy the vinyl and everything now." And this was when we got the picture of him on the back in another sort of get-up
Yeah.
on the Palpatine throne, and it's so cool. It's like the old sort of Copia cassock stuff, but it's black and purple. He's got like the Year Zero hat from the last era almost, but with an additional mitre. But the fucking skeletons hands on the shoulders,
Amazing.
stunning.
I can't wait to see that in real
Stunning.
life. Like it's it gives me the vibe that like somebody's almost like behind him, you know, like with their hands on his shoulder, you know, like, because like my again tinfoil hat theory for Papa 5 is that maybe there's something weird going on with this guy, like, because like the robot hands and stuff like that there, and then you have the big metal skeleton hands on the shoulder, like maybe he's not fully in control of what's going on, if that makes sense. I don't know, I could be wrong, but it's just such a cool image of just these giant fucking hands. Just, you know, you could just almost see the thing behind him. Like it's so cool.
Didn't someone else also pointed out that, like, I forget what the actual what the official name of it is, but like basically the sash he's wearing with the cassock, that
Yeah.
technically with this version with Papa V, he's wearing it on the correct side, whereas like when Copia was wearing a cassock with the sash, he wore it on the opposite side, like kind of like an antichrist type of thing. But
Yeah.
with Papa V, it's
Oh, yeah.
technically in the correct spot.
It's kind of interesting that in and of itself is interesting for not only because Copia was wearing the fascia on the left versus Perpetua wearing it on the right, but also like in like actual Catholic tradition, only the Pope is allowed to wear it on the left.
Oh,
So
interesting.
like that brings up a whole other like, is Copia like the actual like real supposed to be the one who's for real, and like Perpetua is pretending, or you know, like that kind of gets my gears going in other directions as well.
Also,
Well,
as well,
also-
first time he's straight up wearing like a priest collar. Like this is the first time, you know, like not just kind of like a vague empty space like Copia had in the suits and stuff.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Copia
you know,
had a priest collar, it was just black. So
And it's chrome.
yeah, but
Everything's chrome in the
it is.
future.
Future. But like it also could like tie in just like wearing it on the traditional side, like if you're like not a pope in the sense that it like
Yes.
very very like past Christian trauma vibes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like especially
definitely.
we're gonna talk about it, especially with like the meaning behind Satanized.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, yeah, I was gonna say let's get on to that because like after what followed next was obviously Tobias going around promoting it, and he sort of delved into the meaning where it was more of like almost a love song and the feeling of love taking over you like a literal demon possession.
yeah.
Because some people do like evil things when they're in love
Hmm.
because they're just so
But it's also
overtaken with the emotion.
it's also from the point of view of a religious person who's viewing being in love as a demonic possession, because like in my brain it would be like maybe a closeted person, like a
Hmm.
closeted
Yeah.
religious person, because there is that little shot when you look in the video of him like touching his butt, like he kind of like touches his butt and then he does like a wank motion, you know, and so it's kind of like maybe like a religious person who's gay who's like, oh no, it must be a demonic possession, you know.
Mm.
But basically,
Um,
they're feeling things that they shouldn't be feeling because it's like, oh, I should have known not to give in. Save me from the monster that is eating me.
yeah. And also as well, satanized is not a Tobias Forge word.
Yeah.
It's an actual real word. It means like to portray as satanic or evil, you know? Like
Mm.
so to be honest, I didn't know that word existed.
It's happened quite a lot. Even quelled. I had to Google what quelled mean because I'm dumb.
Tobias
Oh,
constantly
yeah.
making me look up the dictionary.
Mm.
I
One thing,
swear, one day my Swedish is gonna be so good. He's gonna get embarrassed because he's gonna have to look up a word. That is
he
my goal.
but yeah, like I'm just looking at the lyrics now, and it is very just like it is just like begging to be released from this emotion and not wanting to sort of feel love because you're scared of it. Is what I'm getting at least.
Like that
Um
is because it's so overwhelming. Like it's so
it's a very simple song, like with what it means. You know, it's not like one of those songs where
Mm.
you sometimes are going like, but this also means this. It's just a gay pope monk guy going, I'm a bit horny and I don't know what to do. Help me. Help me, Alan Rickman. Save me,
One of
Obi-Wan
the
Kenobi.
talking it like now that the promotional cycle has started as well, I feel like not many people have asked about the whole half mask thing. And one of the things I wanted to bring up was where do you think he'll go from here? Not that I'm saying I want this era to be over already, but like, do we think he will? Because obviously, with the whole Perpetua being meaning forever,
Yeah.
and now his face is kind of out there, do you think he could still
Oh yeah.
change
Yeah.
into another Papa with just a new mask and
I think
mask shape and
I think he
paint?
could. Because like
yeah,
the face,
for
because
sure.
like if you look at him in the face paint as well, like like the way he's done the face paint's been done, it doesn't really like. I mean, it does look like him, but it doesn't look like him, if that makes sense. You know, also there's like still a little bit of
Yeah.
like, oh, that doesn't really like. You know, you look at him going, that I look like him a little bit. You know, like so you could definitely have different like skull paints and stuff still, and like different style masks and stuff.
You can even
know.
look. You can even like compare it to how he was with like Repugnant, like the Mary Gore face paint. Like you can tell it's him, but obviously he looks different.
Yeah.
And then even like that one random picture from like that you saw like during the court case where he was trying out skull paint on his own face, and he looked
Yeah.
like he's in his 20s, but he looks 12 in that picture.
He looks like a baby.
I don't understand how this is. Like, I mean, he was a grown adult at this point. He was a grown adult at this point.
I think it's the angle the photo's taken at, because it's taken at like a downward angle, like somebody else took the picture.
Yeah.
I fool up.
But again, it's like it's him, but like he also looks different.
Also, as well, just because of how grand Perpetua looks, like you could like just give him an entire new outfit, like an entire new wardrobe, different mask. You know, like again, people have been going along with this shtick for long enough now that it's like we all know it's the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Like,
some.
Well, some. What do you mean? What do you mean it's the same guy in there? Well, then you have to explain for 20 minutes. But but I mean, like everybody who knows it's him, like even whenever the kind of court case and all happened and his name went out, people still went along with the shtick, of like, oh, it's not Tobias Forge, it's Copia, So I think like people would still go along with it if he just changed the face paint and like the costumes and stuff. If he wanted to make a new Papa, I think people would definitely go along with it. Or he could just be like, and they're actually triplets, not twins.
One thing we didn't mention was the fact that obviously through this press cycle, it's been revealed that the album is dropping the 25th of April, which is, I'll get onto this in a second. The UK tour will have finished by then, so someone's got to learn the lyrics. But he also said that, like, obviously there's a lot of fucking weird ass titles that I'm gonna have to learn to pronounce
Yeah.
because I don't know what the fuck they are. But he said it's like you said, where it's an introspective album. He's focusing more on human emotions, like a song about hate, a song about like grief, or a song about lust and stuff. There's meant to be a fucking horny ass song on this album.
Umbra.
I'm excited.
I'm just excited to see how that performs on stage.
Or
Someone's got to know the lyrics.
or is Umbra the horny Umbra song? Is it going to be the one song off the album that he doesn't perform live?
Don't
I'm gonna care.
don't say that.
Put
Don't
that
bring
in the
out into
universe.
Sorry.
You take that back.
I'm sorry.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
Shut your whore mouth.
I'm sorry, guys.
Tobias has been on a press tour sort of thing at the minute, explaining. It's all very exciting. Yeah, anyone else got anything else to say on this in general? Let's discuss.
Yeah, I just kind of want to talk about the track listing. Because from what we've heard, like the girls on the Morbid podcast, they said it feels like at the end of the album, because they got to listen to it, lucky bastards. Lovingly, I say lovingly. But they said it had like almost like a redemption feeling at the end of the album when they listened to it. You know, like a redemptive kind of feeling. And he said that's good. That's what he wanted. So I kind of have this feeling of like it's going through this journey of, because it says like the first song is called Peacefield, which is, I don't know if it is the reference, but the reference I got from it, because that's where John Adams lived.
Okay.
John Adams was the second president of the United States, and up until recently was probably the most hated president of the United States because he was so bad at his job. So I don't know if it's a reference to that or not. Like, if we're gonna get like a song that starts the album a bit more kind of like, fuck you, like, but because the second song is Lactrum, I think it's pronounced, which means tears.
Lacrima.
Yeah, thank you. Which means tears. So that's a sad one. It's like, fuck you into.
Well, speaking of Peacefield, obviously traditionally the tour, the shows open with the album opener.
Yeah.
So do we think Peacefield's going to be the opener?
100%.
That'll be interesting because, like I said, none of us know it at the minute.
It was also.
I think the music that we've heard in the chapters and the end of that video and the end. That one. I think that's that kind of. I think that definitely.
THX.
Yeah, the THX.
I will say, whenever I listen to Satanized now, because obviously the music bit, for those who haven't clicked, when you watch the music video and when it gets to Papa being revealed, you get the whole like THL music. And when I kind of miss it on the album, so I'm hoping it's going to be somewhere else.
But he did say that with this album, it doesn't really have any instrumentals. Like I think all the songs on this album are all like lyrics.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
So, which will be interesting, just because I'm so used to him having like instrumentals, like especially like Imperium being such a very prominent instrumental that he used like to open the shows, basically. So it'll be interesting how they do it if they don't have like an actual track, like a track that's a part of the album, if they're not doing that. If they're just going straight into a song.
He's already said that as well, that they can be extended. So I think he has tour versions of them, if that makes sense. You know? So I think he might have like this version on the album might not have such a long intro as maybe it will on the tour, or outro, as well. Like some of the songs might have like extended outros, just to kind of give him. Because a lot of those instrumentals are there to help let him change. as
Mhm.
well, you know. So I feel like it's also as well he has like a fuckload of instrumentals that he can still use. Like he can still use Miasma and I can't pronounce the other one, the titty window one.
Helvetica Fonster.
Yeah, that one. They can still use them and Impera and whatever if he wants to. But he could probably just extend them out. You know, like he probably has written stuff just for the tour, but maybe he didn't because the way that he is he knows exactly how much music has to fit onto a vinyl record to make it sound good. That's why Ghost albums are always the length that they are, you know? Because he did
10 songs.
Yeah, because he did a podcast where he was talking about it. And he says that there's a specific amount of music on each side of the record that you can put to make it like the optimal sound for a record, you know, to make it sound good. And I think he kind of was like, I will just keep the instrumental bits maybe I've written for the tour, and they don't need to be on the album because they don't add anything. And also, I only need 10 songs, and I don't want to take any of these songs out because I like them, actually.
Low key, the thought of Kaiserian being in the middle of the set list is making me feel sick.
That's such an
Fuck
opening
that.
song. I can't
Yeah.
even
I don't think Kaiserian will be back on the set list.
I don't think so
Because like you
either,
said,
to be honest.
it's a big opening song, you know.
I'm
Rip
also
Kaiserian.
I'm just curious how the set is going to be, especially between like the UK and then like the rest of the tour, since the UK we already mentioned it, that the UK shows will happen before the album is officially released. So I don't know if it's going to be kind of like what happened with like the pre-Impera tour back in 2022, where like technically Impera hadn't been fully released yet, like at all, and like they performed like Imperium, or they had the track for Imperium, and then they performed Kaiserian as like the opening song, even though no one knew what the fuck that song was. They had never heard it before. And then the only other song the only other new quote unquote new songs they performed were like Hunter's Moon, because that was a single. And then they performed the
Call Me Little Sunshine.
no. Enter Sandman.
that
They
one?
performed
Oh.
Enter Sandman, that cover of it.
I do also think though that a part of that what had to play with that was the fact that that tour in particular was a co-headline tour, so
Yeah.
the sets was limited.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they'd have been on their own, they would have maybe done the same as what they'd done in Europe the following months.
And also, everyone had COVID, so they didn't have time to prepare anything new.
I have a theory that they're just going to do the set list of whatever the set list is going to be, because no one can record it. And nobody's
Yeah.
going to be able to post the new songs on YouTube before everybody else can hear them.
That
in
is
the
true.
UK.
That is
So
true.
he can just do the tour normally, you know. And we'll just come out. We heard a new song like halfway through, and it kind of went like, da, 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 da. I don't know what the fuck he was saying. I went it out.
What's also interesting, which has sort of been confirmed at least by a Live Nation UK representative, is that because we kind of had this thought anyway, because obviously with the VIP, part of the benefit is you get to go on stage and have a picture taken with the set, and we were all a little bit like, if there's a support act, have they got to put the set up and then take it back down? Apparently, no support act.
Sorry.
But my only little potential gripe with that is remember in LA, like we got let in at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then we were waiting until like 9:20.
I don't think it'll
With
be like
nothing.
that this time. If it, like that,
I hope not.
I think like with that it's a bit different, because obviously like they had a specific set they needed to film for the movie, whereas I feel like this is probably going to be like that tour that they did before with the Pale Tour named Death, I think it was.
Yeah.
A bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer.
That's what I'm hoping for, because like that was my first ghost show, so like I was spoiled. I was thinking this is how all ghost shows are, and I've been craving those like long sets with like, if they do the long set again, it would be interesting, because they used to do like they did an intermission during Pale Tour. It was so long like that they literally did an intermission where they took a break, and like that's what people would like, people went and used the bathroom and everything, and I end up like on another side of the venue. Like at first I was on the right side, and then I was able to make my way on the left side, and I got a little bit closer. But yeah, and then that was cool. And I wonder if they would do that again.
Well, he mentioned his hip hurts
Oh, he's fine
when
now.
he did that. Get that hip replacement,
No,
Pookie.
I think, but I was thinking about intermission. He said, somebody asked about whether the skeleton dancers coming back, and he said not the same, but you'll see. Could you imagine like a dance break intermission?
I'm
My
gonna be real,
God.
and I'm sorry to burst everyone's bubble. I honestly think he just means the ghouls because of their costumes.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
probably
but
right.
Is that man
I
gonna
don't want you to
afford
be
to
right.
take a whole
Well,
has entourage on tour?
well, with the ticket prices, yeah. He can't,
Wow.
I mean,
tickets have gone up in price.
it is possible because it is possible because there are bands now, like especially in the metal scene,
Motionless
that
and White have dancers.
Motionless and White, like fucking Ice Nine Kills has like they just have like a troupe of people that come on just to perform those little like bits from horror movies.
Yeah.
So like it's not completely like a out of the box idea to have like people who just come along just to be dancers, like backup dancers.
Maybe two, like Motley Crue do.
That'd be so funny. But like an intermission of just two poor dancers on stage having to keep us entertained for like 10 minutes.
I wonder
we believe we well done, guys.
I wonder if it's just gonna be kind of like where it's just like two skeletons that just come up and just heighten whatever's going on during one song.
More smoke.
Can they pick him up and twirl him again, please?
I would imagine that would be a thing, just because like the skeletons were so successful and everything, and it was just a lot more. I don't know, like it just heightened him a lot more than like any of the ghouls ever do.
Literally, literally heightened it.
Well, he did say like he was like thinking about about bringing dancers on tour. He's like, but that's like 12 other people that you have to feed then. And at that time, they probably didn't have the budget to bring 12 people, but clearly they're just judging from his outfits and judging just from the fact that, assuming, that the shows are going to be longer, it means they probably have he has, a bigger budget. So he could have like penciled in, can I have like 6, like it doesn't have to be 12, it could be 6.
I'm
5.
I'm honestly surprised just by how big his budget gets, especially with the costumes. Because like I thought like Copia was like his peak of like how bedazzled a robe could be. Or how intricate can papal robes be. Because like before we started off with like Primo with like literally satin, some sequins, and a dream, and then Papa 2 had a little bit more like detail to it. They got like some fancier fabric and everything. It looks a little bit more professional. And then those robes were actually really nice. Like they were nicely done with the differing fabrics and colors. And seeing it up close, I never knew before that those gold circles on his robes were individually beaded, and some of them have skulls in them. Like they're very detailed. I didn't know that before.
My favorite clip about Turtle's robes is the one where he says, "I've got a lot of comments about my feet lately. Apparently they're showing. What's wrong with a little nudity? Don't you think I have some great ankles?" Thank you. That's my favorite video. Keep going.
And then you get to Copia, and then it's like super bedazzled, and then he has like the cape, and then his mitre is just full of gems, and it's so sparkly, and it's just like it's super, super nice. And it's just like, well, where can you go from there? And now we have like
Rome skeleton hands.
We have at least two versions of papal robes, and then we have a cassock. And they're so hefty. Especially like the one mitre from like the main picture that was released, like from the music video and everything, that mitre that has like a whole like giant metal crucifix. Which, by the way, the new crucifix design is like fucking insane.
Apparently there's 5.
Yeah, but
the big you said he's like designed 5 of them, and you're like, what?
Yeah, but like the most detailed one at least is like insane, because it's basically just a cluster of skeletons in an orgy.
Yeah, skeletons boning.
And then
what do we think the Oh, sorry, carry on.
No.
Tony.
I was just saying more, just like, he just has this giant metal one right in the middle of this mitre, and then like he has like mini ones all down the robes too, but they're like
And
3D.
we still haven't seen his more like casual, in air quotes, casual.
That's what I'm saying.
fit.
It's just
This is
like
what I was going to ask.
that's what I'm saying. Like he has a cassock, he has 2 sets of Papa robes, 3 hats, and
Do we think he's going to get like a Tom Baker jacket but purple?
Yes.
yeah, I think so. Or at least it's like this purple blue, purple pink vibe he's got going on.
Because like, especially where we've been saying like he's been taking little bits to as homage to the past Papas,
Yeah.
and also like when Ethan, that fan, met him in at the record fair, and they
Yeah.
spoke a little bit about the show, and he says he wants to keep some bits the same to keep the old fans happy. Purple jacket, just saying.
We need that boy sparkling. You know what I mean? Like,
Is it weird? I hope it has tails.
oh,
Kinda
I'd
like the
love
old,
tails come back.
kind of like
yeah.
the old
Cool.
Cardi suits. I
See,
think
if them old Cardi suits came back, I think I would actually drop dead. Like a new version of those kind of suits, because I personally think like those suits have never been topped, in my opinion. Like they're so simple, but they like B Auckland, she works with Madonna and Beyonce as well, by the way, and like she just knows how to dress them so well, and she's actually the one that made the Papa robes this time. Because like last time it was who do you call
Majesty
them?
Black.
Yeah, Majesty Black did it. But like B's actually the one who made them this time, and she actually got the House of Emmanuel are the ones who did B's like crucifix pendant that kind of matches Copia's. And House of Emmanuel is the one that works usually with Beyonce with all her kind of like like bejeweled stuff, so like
It's just insane that he's able to work with like these like giant names like in the music industry, like at least these giant names, like as far as like costuming and everything. They work with like these huge artists, and then he gets to work with them too.
Yeah, not on the same kind of like budget that they would probably have, but like he can still make, like, they work really well on the budget. Like like he has obviously like a huge budget, but like Beyonce has like a billion budget, whereas
Yeah, but like it's still like it still shows like I've said it multiple times that one of the things I really appreciate about like Tobias and like his work in Ghost is that anytime that man makes money, most of it goes to the show and the performance, and it always shows, because you can see like going from Opus era to now, you can just see how much his budget grows and how much he puts into like the performance as a whole. It's something I really appreciate, because like it's so common for artists to just like perform in regular clothes and like have like a banner and maybe some fire every once in a while. Like they'll have a screen playing on the background for their effects, like just like a pre-recorded video.
It's like we said, there's a reason why Dr. Ronald Radke lives in a like $9 million mansion, and his stage shows look like shit. But Tobias Forge lived in the same apartment for over 10 years, and his shows are chef's kiss.
Yeah, like you can definitely see, like, and also as well, like Tobias will always like reach out to like real artists as well.
Yep.
And especially in this kind of, it's so refreshing in this landscape,
AI-centric universe.
Yeah, like because you have people like Avenged Sevenfold and Bring Me the Horizon using like generative AI live on stage, and it looks fucking ugly. I don't know anybody who looks at generative AI videos and goes, "Oh, that's like the sickest thing I've ever seen." It's like, have you never looked at anything else ever?
Right?
Like,
are we going to talk about the promotional Satanized tool potentially here? So
yeah, I think we should talk about it. Yeah,
let's talk about it, because I'm stressed.
Yeah, they had the satanize yourself thing that came up, where you could put your own face onto either Alan Rickman or one of the nuns, and people got very mad at it because they were like, "It's AI." Listen, shut up. No, but
It's literally Elf yourself. It's the same
literally.
thing he had
I
since
think what
Chip Chap.
the problem was, it's the company that was putting it out. It says powered by AI, which it could mean. I spoke about this briefly on Twitter, and like I'm just going to go on record and say I do not support generative AI. I am someone who works in marketing. I am a photographer. I work a lot in digital media. Therefore, I am constantly threatened, even by my own bosses. They've come out to be like, come into my office and said, "Hey, we could just get AI to do this." I am constantly threatened by generative AI every day of potentially losing my job. I can't fucking stand it. It's lazy. It's unimaginative. It's uncreative, and it's obviously has a very poor effect on the environment with the way it cools the big systems to keep it afloat. Having said that, there has been for years, decades at this point, unfortunately, these little tools fed to us that are essentially artificial intelligence, whether it be autocorrect, whether it be chroma keying automations, whether it be let's say on Photoshop, auto selective tools, background selection, subject detections, in cameras, recognition. These things have existed for a long time. Unfortunately, they fall under the AI label, and because in this day and age, from a legal standpoint, you have to label whether something uses AI or not, whether it's generative or not. It is all tarred with the same brush. That means there can sometimes be confusion whether it is generative or just an artificial intelligence tool. And I am under the assumption with this, looking at how it works, that it is basically a chroma key template, which they're very easy to make. You get the video, you get like a green screen section. You can obviously do it a little bit more in depth now, where you can get facial movements and things now. But essentially, you put like a green screen face on a template, and when you upload the image, it just takes away the green screen part of it.
It's just a face filter, really. That's
It
like
works the same as Snapchat,
Mm.
which people have been using for years.
People, I
it-
just don't like how people are using it within the same vein of like
Generative.
yeah, generative, where like there are currently like bands and companies that put out like artworks and like album covers that are completely like AI, like that, like
yeah.
not a single human touched this.
Yeah.
One
Whereas
person called Steve who wrote into an engine that went, generate me a cool metal looking album cover, and then it came up, and like there's 4 billion versions came up, and he was like, oh
yeah,
no, no,
and then
Mm.
people are putting that in this, putting like this like little Satanize yourself in the same vein, when it's like it's not
It's not.
comparable. It is not
yeah.
comparable.
It's not
Mm.
It's like I said,
Don't get me
it's like I said as well. Like Tobias has clearly shown, and over and over again, that he will reach out to real artists. Like you have the little animated Mariana Cross video for Right Here Right Now, and the Futures of Foreign Land video. Again, he reached out to real animators to do that. It would have been so easy to just generate an AI Futures of Foreign Land video.
Mm.
The comic as well. He it's real artists involved in making the comic. Again, it's a big new. He's worked with him for years. B again, he's worked with her for years, and she's reaching out to all her people that she knows. Like he is very connected to all these. Like he's somebody who loves real stuff, like
Mhm.
VHS
Mm.
tapes, vinyls, cassette tapes, like he loves being able to touch the things that he has, like he likes tangible stuff. Like obviously he still obviously very much benefits from like the digital media too, but like he is a big collector of, big collector and lover of vinyls and things. So like he's not going to be like I can't imagine the man being like, oh yeah, let's totally use AI, that sounds fun.
Mm.
But no.
And he just
With
he just appreciates real art. Like even t-shirt designs are like
Yeah.
typically like fan submissions, or they're just like they are fan submissions. Like they're artists who are big fans of Ghost, and they've been able to work with Ghost, that they produce like these new t-shirt designs. And so every single t-shirt design that's out there, at least like that Ghost is promoted, and it's available on like Ghost website. They're all like real pieces of art from real people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just feel like it kind of, again, like the landscape that we're in, it is like, because even like there was like when the album cover kind of came out, like there was that little like shadow of doubt. Like even whenever, like back even when the Phantom album cover came out, because there was no Ghost logo on it, and it was such a different style of art cover for them. I was really worried for like until like the name of the artist came out. I was like, I hope this isn't AI. You know, like I had a feeling it wouldn't be, but because it was so different than, you know, because it was 3D digital art, I was like, oh, that's just, you know, like it was a bit like that kind of like you know, black cloud of doubt over you. You're like, is it AI? But then it came out it wasn't, and the guy had done so much work to do it. You're like, oh, whew, you
Yeah, he
know.
showed like the whole thing in Blender.
Yeah,
And,
and you can
like,
take
it's
it apart
insane.
and everything, you know, like, and like put different masks and all on the Robo Papa on the cover and stuff, like. And you get a really good view of it, obviously, in the
Phantom of the Opera video.
the Phantom of the Opera video, which I love that. But yeah, like there is that, like, obviously, like I said, like because of the landscape, the way everything is going at the minute, there's obviously gonna be that little cloud of doubt, you know, like
Question everything.
yeah. But like I will tend to lean more towards him using real artists, because that's just the way he seems to be. And if anything does come out AI, like really aggressively AI, I would put that more on Loma Vista, to be honest. Because again, like he's the guy that seems to he's really into old school stuff. Like he got like the painted poster and everything, you know, like for Right Here, Right Now. You know, like
It looks like kind of like an old school movie poster, because he's just a vintage kid at heart.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he loves everything vintage. He loves everything from like that he like saw like growing up. So like things that came out like during his childhood and things that came before his childhood.
yeah,
It's like he just always appreciate like kind of like how things used to be. He's very much a like, you know, back in the good old days. We used to
yeah.
have
Back in
this.
my day,
And like also like Tobias is also like said in multiple ways that he's just not like a very like techie person. Like obviously he's intelligent.
yeah,
I'm not saying he's like dumb or anything. It's just like he's not always like on his phone. Like the Morbid podcast thing like came out not long ago, and
yeah.
they were posting like clips, and like they asked him a question and he couldn't remember, and he's just like, hold on, for the first time ever I'm going to pull out my phone because I don't know the answer. And then he's like complaining about the internet. And then he didn't know what like TikTok was. So like I just don't see him doing that, because I think he just like, well, I know that this works and this always
Yeah.
works and this always looks good. So I'm just going to keep doing this cuz this is good.
Like in 10 years' time, the Ghost album covers are still gonna look good, whereas you're gonna look at that Bring Me the Horizon Avenged Sevenfold generative AI bullshit, and it's gonna look like shit. It looks like shit now. It's gonna look even more
I was
shit in
gonna
about
say.
10 years' time. You know what I mean? Like, real art will always age better.
And not to change the subject slightly, but I've just thought of a point that we've not actually made about the actual album. The fact that he's the main producer on this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Talking about like not being technical.
yeah,
He's he's gone under the pseudonym of Gene Walker again, which by the way is really fucking funny that I didn't realize, because I've known about Gene Walker because obviously he in quotation produced Opus Eponymous. And I've always wondered where the fuck that name came from, and it was my Swedish friends that basically said that I can't remember the name. It's like, but there's a word for ghost that sounds a little bit like Gene. And there's like the second, it's like Gene Orca or something, which means like ghost walker, but it sounds like Gene as in like DNA. So like, you know, you got the word orca to walk and to go. But it means the same, it means ghost if you separate the two parts of the word, which is really fucking, I'll have to look it up, but someone who's Swedish will confirm. But yeah, nerd alert. But yeah, no, he produced the album this time round instead of getting like Klaus or Tom Dalgety, or we still got Vince and Vincent Ponter and Salem on it though.
Yeah, like he said, like he wasn't completely alone. Like he did have those people, and he said, like I love that little clip where he's saying about he has on like on his shoulder, like he, like like he'd hear like somebody being like, "Oh, that's such a you thing to do," like. And the guy asked him, like, "Are you a perfectionist in the studio, or can you let things go?" And he said, "I could hear a voice on my shoulder being like, yeah, no." And then also, like, I laughed at him talking about working in the studio where he's like, he has an idea or something, and if somebody tries to put their idea on it, he will then add an extra studio day to make that idea go away. And you're like, oh my god! And it just made me like not to like. I mean, I will take any opportunity to do it, but like when you think about the lawsuit goals, and you're like, we are so important to the creation of Ghost, and you're like, listening to him now, being like, if somebody puts an idea in that I don't like, I will literally schedule in more time to make it go away. Like it's like you just had so much input. But it's going to be interesting because like I know that I did hear there was one reviewer who said that the production wasn't as good, as Ghost usually has. Like it's a guy called Fontano or something on YouTube. He said it sounded a bit muddy. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. Like he said, Satanized. They said the middle of Satanized sounds really muddy, but I don't hear it myself.
I don't either. It sounds amazing.
Yeah. And it sounds like the most Ghost song that's ever Ghost songed. If that makes sense. Like,
it really does.
It's so like it fits so well within Ghost's kind of catalog that I've like once I heard it, I felt like I already knew it.
Mm-hmm.
You got Latin, you got like riffs, you got catchy, upbeats.
You've got words that he's definitely going to mess up when he's singing it live. Victimized, paralyzed, leicized. I'm also messing him up, so I'm not going to shit on him too much for if he does, because I'm also saying paralyzed 3 times in a row. But it's really cool that he's doing it himself. Like, I wish he'd put his own fucking name on it, but
I will say with all these new interviews that have been coming out, it has been insane to see Ghost post Tobias and his face, like his face and his name.
New, though.
I know, but it's just, but I don't know. It's just like I guess seeing
it's been a while.
on top of. I guess seeing it on top of like him having like this Papa 5 with the half mask and everything, he's just exposing more and more of himself. It just and it feels like so illegal.
And also this record, he said as well, is very introspective because he didn't want to do another like Impera Part 2. And like when you look at all the Ghost stuff that's been, there hasn't been really an introspective Ghost album. There's been stuff that like is personal to him, obviously, but there hasn't been one that's like really looked in. It's going to be interesting to hear these songs. Like if it is like obviously like Satanized is not him singing it. Obviously as a character singing it, and it's dealing with like emotions. Like he says, dealing like love, hate, lust. There's a song that deals with like there's a song on it that I know is going to absolutely kill everybody, where he says it's about you being alive when somebody else is dead. So I know for a fact that's gonna, and then the last song I think he said as well is like that song is basically saying like if you can hear this, you are alive, and that's great. You are like live and be alive.
Be right here, right now.
Yeah. I laughed at him in one of the interviews. He was saying about that was him right there, right then. But he said he did say a while ago that he had like an idea for the album title, colors and stuff like about over 2 years ago actually. At this point, like he said he did have a lot kind of already thought for this album, and he also said that Satanized was originally for Impera, but like Klaus was just like no, and he's like oh, okay, well. And then when he doesn't have anyone else in the studio, he's like, I'm going to make this work. Nobody can stop me now. He actually, as he said as well, that he was actually really surprised that, because he had an idea for the video, but he was like really, like usually whenever he gives the album over to Loma and Universal or whatever, and they'll like pick whatever song they think should be the first single. And so usually that, the idea he has isn't, worth anything anymore. But like they came back to him and said, Satanized sounds like it could be a really good first single. And he's like, yes, You know, so he finally got to use his idea. Also, as well, he talked about the video, saying that the reason that Papa isn't actually in the video is because Papa isn't the one singing the song. So it'd be weird having Papa standing singing Satanized when it's not actually him singing it. So that's why he kind of made a narrative video almost, you know, like but it's gonna be so interesting to see, like just to see him on stage, like, you know,
I'm not ready.
like see him sing and see like him like smiling at his own jokes and shit, you know, what he's gonna do, and you know, and well, you said earlier as well, like people haven't talked about the half mask yet. I think a lot of the interviews were filmed before the stuff came
They
out.
were allowed to talk about
so
it.
they probably couldn't ask about it, you know, because of, you know, so they probably, it's like you can look at the picture of him, but you can't ask anything about the way he looks. That time has now passed. People ask about the fucking half mask.
Please.
It's like the first Papa that's going to have a regular sized head, or regular sized Tobias Forge sized head.
Ish.
He's still pretty large, but you know, like, not as big as Kobe, as he was literally a bobblehead.
Any other major points we missed? Because I'm gonna need to wrap up soon.
We got that really nice interview on Swedish TV, which was so cool that he got to talk in front of millions of Swedish people.
Oh yeah, that's a
Big
whole
platform.
thing.
And a man bun.
And a man bun.
I remember.
And a
Good.
Is he keeping the Is he going to tie his hair up on stage? I wonder if he's going to keep it down. Is he going to curl it every day? Because it was fucking curly.
Well, there's also-
When will you wear wigs?
Well, it's also shorter. Like, I'm pretty sure like all of these, like the video and the promos were like filmed during the time of like that point in his hair journey, like during the Grammys, when it was like just about to touch the shoulders. Because that's when it looked like it was from. And it was like short and it was like curly, wavy, and I'm like, I don't know if it's a wig, or I don't know if he's just like, if he's planning on cutting his hair. I don't know if he's just planning on keeping, like, Papa 5 actually has longer hair than what you've seen.
Yeah,
Rone's insane because he's been hanging out. He's been standing outside that goddamn door.
Are they ever going to open the door? No.
I do wonder if they are going to just like, you know, keep the joke going.
Picture this. It's Manchester. There's the stage is set. There's a door on stage. He kicks it down like motherfucking Big Bird.
Oh my god. That would
night.
actually be hilarious.
And it just start, like, it's no noise before he does it, and he just goes, you know, like, yells Leroy Jenkins every night.
There's no other warning, and just suddenly, boom, there's a Papa in front of your face.
I am all ears. The Ghost Fan